howdy, is black as the body. Today we're talking about white friend. Okay, white friend, I want to say, and this isn't because I'm white, okay, I want to say it was my favorite chapter. Emily talked about some, like, interesting social aspects, but also I really just loved her descriptions of the New England area. I know that this book isn't necessarily to glorify New England, but I like to travel there and I want to live there. So I really loved hearing about her time in Vermont and moving to Manchester, or meeting a friend from Manchester. That's Manchester's where I'm trying to be. So anyways, the chapter essentially, takes us through this story she had talking to Karen. And Karen says something that sounds ridiculous. It's instantly met with grace from Emily, which is like grace beyond what we normally encounter. Like grace that's like on a human level, that kind of speaks to the intellect, the emotional ability. Like it just speaks to who Emily is. And it was wonderful. It was like, well, I've been there before. Sometimes you have a verbal train wreck, right? And sometimes you're not trying to hurt someone, but you just have a verbal train wreck. And me, as a cis, white, straight man, I will tell you, I have had verbal train wrecks. And it's nice to hear that grace can be met with them sometimes. There's no excuse for saying things that are ridiculous and terrible, but yeah, Emily, that was just stuck out to me there. Then she goes through the inheritance, talking about her relationships, how she inherited them from John. That's an odd one that we'll touch on later. Only love was unique. She talked about how John finds her friends and how she gives love to those friends, and how she goes, I wanted to be excited, but now I just wanted friends that were cool. Camp Lori, best chapter, best sub-chapter there. I feel like I'll get into that enough with the interpretation that I can kind of skip that. Black friend, talking about Esty and what they think, and then the look. The look is another one that was probably second best little sub-chapter in this section. So to interpret this, I kind of already spoke on that whole beginning thing about Karen. Maybe it will just, it left a ring and, our skin doesn't come off, right? Like, she has this opportunity to, step on Karen's throat, but, she realizes that, Karen made a stupid human mistake. And that's what makes Emily Bernard's view of race and interaction with people different, is she views them as humans. When those kids were all saying the N-word at her school, she talks to them about it. And, none of us should be saying it, but especially, as their teacher, as a black woman, hearing that from all those kids, you would think she has a ton of righteous anger inside of her if she wanted to. But she treats them as humans, and it's ridiculously gracious. And it's a good way to talk about race, really. Inheritance, that one's kind of weird. That one, I guess, could be connected to, if I wanted to make it really about race, you could connect it to the idea that she feels like with John she's inheriting safety and social status and now friends, right? Because John is a white man and they're in New England, right? So that could be connected there. I'm not sure if that's what she meant, but also I know Emily Bernard's 10 times smarter than me, so she probably meant a lot more than that. That's all I got there. Only love, I keep saying I have favorite subchapters, but Only Love was sweet too, because friends are difficult. Friends are odd, and I've had friends that are great to just get really high with and do drugs and get into trouble, but it's the friends that like you and care about you that actually matter. Excitement and crazy times and Pineapple Express, it's that's fun, but that's not really what love is about. And giving someone only love, maybe that's all we have to offer. That is an important thing for humans to do. Camp Lori, golly, can I go to Camp Lori, right? It sounds like, I didn't pick up on anything underneath it. I know she touched about race a little bit with Camp Lori, with the sunblock and stuff. And she talked about a connection with nature at some point too. I was just in love with that chapter. I was reading it at Ray Roberts in my hammock under some trees, and it just, I loved it, man. I really want to go to Camp Lori now. I just love the idea that these kids get to spend time in the summer relaxing in a lake on an air tube and, playing with goats and doing real tangible work. That's something that we miss so often, and gosh, I hope my children can experience that. Camp Lori put a smile on my face. Black friend. Esty is my only black friend. Is not my only black friend, that's right. The only black friend thing keeps coming up, and she plays on white friend, black friend. I am not sure what to make of it. I guess when you're living up there where a lot of people don't look at you, or don't look at you how you are and don't look like you, it would be like a crazy mind map, organizational chart of understanding who understands race, who understands this. And so it's almost like when you find someone, okay, this is like a massive simplification, but hear me out. It's like when you find someone in your class, the story she told about finding a Chiefs fan in her class, right? It's like Emily Bernard is finding these people that understand race and understand compassion, right, and are aware of things. And that's how she differentiates special people from people that she doesn't need to really be friends with. The look was interesting. It was a white friend, right, and they were eating pizza, and apparently there was a look given, and this white friend was going to justify it. And Emily's like, you are making a mountain out of a molehill, basically. Emily's like, I don't want to think about race. I don't want to be reminded of this issue. And then she wrestles with, oh man, I think about race all the time, but I don't want to think about race. And it really let us in a lot on how Emily Bernard views race and racism, and it runs perfectly parallel with the rest of this book. Emily Bernard is very on the nose about race and very open and real about it, but she's not trying to get a torch and get mad at anyone. She's got such a compassionate and humane, there you go, a humane view on this whole thing. So I did appreciate that last chapter, how she handled that, how she de-escalated it and was like, I don't want to look for reasons to get upset. So what? That's diet. That's D-I-E, evaluate. I heard people in class say that this one was a boring one compared to Black is the Body, being that long, in-depth one. Sorry, this one was one of my favorites, It had the wonderful imagery and the wonderful explanations of Camp Lori, and it talked about Vermont a lot. It talked about her compassion a lot, and it talked about love, and as you can tell, I'm a sucker for that love stuff, man. I keep finding love out of this. So, story about race, I guess, man. I took it more as a story about love, man. I keep finding love in this book. And I'm sorry, but that's what I feel, man. That's what I hear out of this book, and it makes me happy, right? So evaluation, I'd say this one took a pivot. I'd say hearing about the white friend, hearing about the black friend, I just heard about love and human friends that understand Emily. So that's my evaluation of it. And takeaways and critiques, man. I want to, if this is what I'm supposed to talk about here, I'm always getting the T wrong, man. This is ridiculous. I want to treat my friends better. Reading this makes me want to understand who is important in my life better and just give them that love like Emily talks about. It makes me want to reevaluate who I spend time with, and it makes me want to just be mindful of those interactions. Also, of course, it makes me want to go to New England. I've said that before. Holy cow, man. I think we're headed up to Seattle here in a few weeks, but I think I'm going to elope with my fiance in New England. Probably Bar Harbor, Maine, if not Lake Champlain, Vermont. We were thinking about a wedding. We were talking about all this time about just eloping, and we're probably going to pull the trigger on that. Up there in Bar Harbor or so, up on the rocks, and really I want to live up there, man. Gosh, I'm saying, I told her give me a decade and we'll have a farm there, but I'm thinking in the next 3 years I can pull it off getting there. So that's my takeaways. I really like New Hampshire, and I really like being mindful of your interactions and friends. Also, how about that North Texas sunset, right? Damn, it looks good. All right, I hope that was sufficient. Woo! Woo! I'm about to go. There's some people playing football. I'm about to just go join them. Yeah, black's the body. See you later, Taylor, or T. You sign your emails off with T sometimes. That is cold. That's cool. Or maybe it's Holly doing this. I don't know, but that's what I think. Thanks.